It's not getting any cooler, Rory.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, look, August in the south. This is. I mean, it's. Geez, I've been coming back here for 12 years, so it's to be expected. But yeah, it was hot and humid, and yeah, it's just this week's all about just trying to conserve as much energy as possible, and I think it's going to get a little cooler at the weekend, which is nice. But I'm happy with how I hung in there and had a good finish, and yeah, when I saw Scotty had gotten to 14, I was like, gotta try to just hang on to the coattails a little bit. So still feel like I've got a chance, and it was nice to finish the way I did.
What are your thoughts on the restoration?
I love the restoration. I love the golf course. It's probably 6 months away from being perfect just because of the firmness of the greens. But I've always liked Andrew Green's work. I like what he did at Congressional. I like what he did at Oak Hill. I like some of the other things. I haven't been there physically, but I've seen. I like that the ball repels off the greens. I like that it gives you options. I think a lot of these aprons, it really gives guys a chance to sort of shine and show how good their short games are, because you can play all sorts of different chips, and you can putt it, you can bump it, you can fly it and try to spin it. So I love that. I love that side of it. And yeah, I mean, I think he's probably made it a little less penal off the tee just by clearing some of the trees, but then I think he's made it a little more penal around the green. So I think overall, I don't think the course plays that much differently apart from the par 5 14th. But I like what he's done, and I like golf courses that sort of stretch out the playing areas and expand the playing areas a little bit. And I think he's done a great job.
You talked a lot this week. Players talk a lot this week about the firmness of the green.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be the case?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to I hit a little 3/4 gap wedge into the 15th there. And you think that a shot like that normally will sort of stop dead, and that one for me, it probably ran out 35, 40 feet, so you have to hit, it just feels like you got to hit full shots into these greens with as much spin as possible to try to get the ball to come to rest as soon as you can.
Rory, Jay spoke to us yesterday. Obviously, he got asked about the negotiations, and we're not going to get a whole lot, but one thing he did say was, one of his comments was, the goal is to bring the best players back together more often, and yet here we are with sort of, almost seems like from the outside, no end in sight. Do you have any sense, are you at all frustrated it's taking this long? And
yeah, of course. I think anyone that cares about golf, I think has to be frustrated. And I think anyone that cares about the PGA Tour has to be frustrated, because the Royal we're not putting forward the absolute best product that we can, because I get the argument that these guys left and that was their choice and whatever, but I just think that it's gone on long enough that we got to try to. I think everyone is trying to find a solution. It's just a solution is hard to get to. But I go back to even though I was on the wrong side of things, like the U.S. Open with Bryson and I. You're only really going to get that 4 times a year at most, and I think the game of golf deserves having those sort of things happen more than just 4 times a year.
Do you think that if it doesn't happen soon, something doesn't happen soon, we run the risk of, knowing that it's not that easy to make this all happen, that 2026 is going to pass us by, or,
Yeah, I think if it doesn't happen soon, then honestly, I think PIF and the Saudis are going to have to look at alternative options, right? I think that's probably I'd say that's the next step in all this if something doesn't get done.
Thanks, Rory.
Thank you.